Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Obviously, I am sorry for this very late video. I haven't updated anything on this car in the last 2-3 months, I believe. It got really cold here in Chicago. Obviously, it's a winter season, and now spring. And I have got some update for you guys. A lot was done in the last couple of months. I kind of got a little lazy and stopped working on this car, and then started continuing again in the last week or so, just because I need to get this car done. It's been here way too long, and I need the room. I need room to move this car on this side, and this car obviously get it running and get it back to the customer, and so he can enjoy driving this car at least this year. So we're almost there. I just wanted to give you guys some update on this. For starters, fuel lines are done, feed and return. There's a lot going on here. I'll explain it in a little bit. We'll start back from the back a little bit, how I ran the fuel line. I know we left off, last video I believe was on the fuel line. So I just want to give you guys some little update on how I ran the fuel line, and if anybody's looking to run some fuel lines and don't have an idea how to run it, let me show you guys what I did. I was gonna open the trunk, but there's some stuff going on. There's stuff in the trunk, and it's a nighttime here. It's like 11:30, 11 o'clock, I believe. And I don't feel like opening the trunk and unloading it with the garage open. It's kind of a little chilly outside too, so I'll show you guys what I did in the trunk next video. But let me show you exactly how I ran the line underneath. So in the trunk, let me know if you guys can see that. That's where it's coming out from. So I got a long bit and basically drilled where this line is coming out. So there's a bunch of space here. I had to get a long bit, which I'll show you in the next video when I open the trunk and clean the trunk out. Ran the line up there. It's right above, sitting above the subframe. And that's where it is. It's not rubbing against anything. It's just sitting on top of the rail, subframe, I'm sorry. And then it's basically, I try to, match it how the stock fuel line is ran. I do, however, need to put extra zip ties, on the fuel line, just so it's more secured. I did these when I ran the line, just so I have, again, an idea exactly how the line is ran. But yeah, it's going all the way into the front. It's basically zip tied to the stock fuel lines and return, and I believe that's a vent to the emissions. So that's how it's ran underneath the car, above the subframe and inside the trunk. While we're still here, I do want to show you guys that I did went ahead and put the exhaust pipe in the rear back on. It's a straight pipe basically, and we got something nice installed here, which is the differential. The differential is actually from Drift Motion with the adapter. Very great quality. This was about $700 and some change, so almost $800. Everything's Loctite and tightened down completely. So it's going straight to R154. So let's go right in the front of the car, and I'll show you exactly what I did in the front with the fuel line. But yeah, everything here is basically almost done. I do need to find out from the customer if there's fluid in this diff, because I've never opened it, so that's going to be fun thing to do if we need to. But other than that, fuel lines ran, differential, drive shaft installed. It's a brand new drive shaft from Drift Motion, about $800. So, and this thing's rated for 1,200 horsepower, so that should be fun. Not that this car is going to be making over, obviously 1,000, but it should, should be fine. So let's get in the front. Just wanted to show you guys what I did in the back. All right, sorry for the mess. I got a lot going on here. It's dirty. Just don't have time to clean. A lot of metal shavings on the floor. I gotta clean. So, you know what? Let me just blow some air down here, just because there's a lot of metal shavings and I don't feel like laying on that. right, sorry about that. All right, so that's how it looks from the front. Obviously, I still got a mid-pipe and a downpipe to install, which will be sometime this week, depending on time, if I have some. So you got your fuel filter here. It's a fuel lab fuel filter, -8, so -8 line feet from the tank. And obviously, you still have some zip ties to install in some places, just make sure it's more secured, but it's nicely tucked in. And then obviously self-tap screws on both, and it's completely secured. And that's how it sits. And then from here, it goes straight to the rail. So 1 feet, and then obviously we return back to this return line right here. I believe this is the return, or I believe the top one is the return. I can't see from the bottom here. So that's the bottom. Clutch is installed, obviously. Everything is installed. Slave cylinder is installed. The drift motion line is installed. What else is down here that I can show you guys before I head back out? Sorry from the turbo side. Sorry for the mess on the wires. I'm still sorting that out. Hoping to get that installed. My famous pipe, coolant pipe, still missing on stuff like that. On that little portion over there, I am planning on taking this out and getting basically a 90-degree fitting to get this bypassed. Reason why is because we don't have a vacuum port, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So we're getting rid of that. Hopefully I'll try to get this done tomorrow or Sunday, and then get that installed, the coolant, so I can install the downpipe. Need to adjust the wastegate a little bit angle and get that one of that bolts out. There's a vacuum port down there that I need to move it, because it was touching the downpipe at the time when I installed it, and it was just, it's not in all the way. I just needed to see exactly how the downpipe is sitting. And I also do need to get a downpipe dump tube piping installed on that wastegate, which I don't know how that's gonna who's gonna do it, and how it's gonna be rerouted. So that's gonna be fun. At the time, I don't know what the plan is for that. So, but we are gonna get that fully installed. So turbo is obviously installed. Everything on this end is completely done. I got that coolant pipe blocked off. Alternator is white because we did have the other alternator, which is sitting right there. On here, found out the plug was wrong, so that is the correct plug. This is my friend's Art's alternator. We swapped it out, and this is good to go. Now, how I ran my power wire, let me show you guys. This is my little setup. Let me move this box. The way I ran it, obviously from the alternator, got some, what's it called? I forgot what these are called, but let's call it some clamps in there, nicely holding the wire. I am getting something to cover that. Gotta start looking for some for a cap for the alternator for the wire. I had an issue with my car. I almost burned that car down about 2 weeks ago. Scary thing. So mine's exactly like that as well. I need to get a cap so we don't have that issue. Let me show you on the bottom how I ran it. Nicely wired with some Allen bolts, stainless Allen bolts. It's going straight up to the alternator. Nicely tucked and clean. And then on the top, I cut up a little bit of the tray. There was no tray here. There was no battery holder or anything like that. Everything was rusted out. I drilled some 2 holes and ran some bolts and got this secured. This is very secured on the on here, so battery won't be moving anytime soon. Got my little battery block. One's coming from the alternator, which is this one right here. Then you got 2 wires here. One going straight to the starter, which is already hooked up. And if you guys can tell, that's where it's going. And I zip tied it, and then it's going under this plugged into the starter. So that's the power deal. Now, what's going on here? Let me start explaining. This, my friend, is a PHR reservoir. I got a blue tape right now just because I was working on here, and I do not want to damage this thing or scratch it. This piece right here is almost $500, and I would hate to put a scratch on it. So that's why it's blue tape. I am gonna start putting fittings on there. There's a fitting that goes on here, which is a feed, which is, as you can see, and it's gonna go straight. I'm sorry, that's a return, and then it's gonna go straight right there. So I need to figure out how to properly route it without kinking it. Then you got a feed on the bottom, which I still have to put the fitting. It's in that box. The line, everything, PHR provides you with everything. The only thing that I do not like, I know they have this huge line that they make. I just feel like it just takes up a lot of space because you're basically going from here to here. But their line is, let me see if I can show you guys. Is this fucking thing. It's ridiculous. So the way they do it is you just gotta bend it and then connect it, which I think is just fucking retarded, but it's a great product. I guess the Mark IV guys mount that thing somewhere else, and that's why they need the line. I just think for the SE guys, or if even with the Mark IV guys, they mount it in the stock location. It's literally, it's like 1.5 feet at most, maybe a foot. So yeah, so I need to figure out how to mount that without kinking it and everything else that shit's going on over here. So I got the harness installed. Got this obviously to the power, to the battery, and the fuse box, I believe. So that's what's going on here. Fuel line. So feed from the filter straight to the rail. The middle one is blocked, and then obviously return is coming off from the side over there. If you can see right there. Then that's going straight to the regulator. I got the regulator, fuel regulator mounted here. I got a little bit of a spacer installed right there. I just didn't know exactly what good location to mount this thing, so I mounted it right there. I'm sure I could have found another spot, but that was just the ideal space at the time that we figured it would be a good spot. So I mounted it in space. I put a little bit of spacer down there just to push this out a little bit, just because this thing was in the way. I got a bolt from a little longer bolt from Ace Hardware to get that bolted in, and everything's secured. So it's nicely sitting and placed, in my opinion. I like it. So it's mounted here. Then you got your fuel pressure sensor mounted right there. You got your oil pressure sensor right there on the cooler. So that's gonna be great. Then you got your flex sensor right here. So the way I have it is from the fuel rail to the regulator. From the bottom of the regulator, it's going to the flex sensor. If you guys can see, the second line is going to the flex sensor, and then flex sensor is going straight back to the fuel return line, which is right there. So that's just the way I did it, and it looks clean on my end. It may not show clean on the video, but it's nicely mounted. So yeah, so that's where the fuel regulator is going. What else is left? Now I am ordering a piece from Drift Motion to get this nicely blocked. There was a big giant piece over here that's sitting right there. I mean, this thing is huge, like huge, and it's got no purpose at the moment. So we're not using it. I believe that's for the throttle body, for traction control, I think it is. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so it'll be nicely blocked. I need to order for myself as well for my car. So that's left to do. Vacuum ports, vacuum lines need to be installed. This one's going to be T to the blow off and also the fuel regulator. The back one's going to go to the EMU Classic for the boost pressure. And then the port over here. So this is what happened. Let me see if I can get this mounted someplace. You got this one that was supposed to go to the valve covers, boiled it. Then you have another one over here, which is a vacuum for something that was for the factory. And this line over here, there was something else, and I'm just using this temporarily. And it could be just be the sensor or this piece over here, a vacuum piece. And I dropped it, of course I did. Let me get it on the other side. See that little hole? We're gonna use that for the boost, so brake booster. Normally the Mark IV guy, I should say the intake has a banjo, And that usually runs to here. There's a little piece here. From here, it goes to the brake booster. But guess what? This intake doesn't have it. So I believe the Risto, I believe this is a Risto motor, has something down there where that hole goes. And then from there it goes to the booster. But in this case, I don't even remember or recall ever a piece being there to going straight to the booster. So we have to figure something out, and that's what we're using for the brake booster. So there's no anything connected to the brake booster at the moment. So yeah, you put this back in there so there's no dirt going in there. But yeah, guys, everything is almost coming together. I do have the trans fluid in my car sitting right now. That was the plan on for me to do tonight, and then start putting everything else together, like start putting the other pipe that goes to the intercooler, start clamping those down. But I want to wait until everything is officially connected. I do have to torque down that bolt, the crank bolt. I do have something that will do it, which is right there, that little bar with the little ball, or that little tool right there. I don't know when I'm planning on doing that part, but I do want to get the power steering, which I got this fitting yesterday from Drift Motion. I was planning on getting this tightened yesterday, so I need to finish that. Once I finish that, I want to finish these connection, the fitting from the PHR to this piece right here. Make sure that's fully connected and done. Once that's done, I can go ahead start putting everything else together. There's the shroud in the car. Got the upper radiator hose hooked. I need to hook it up. The bottom one's already hooked up. I just gotta clamp it. This part on it, this side on it. What else? To tighten the crank bolt. Start putting the fluids in. I gotta get the downpipe installed. I gotta go buy an O2 sensor for this car, because the one for this car originally I started using it because I had issues with my original one. Then the one that I used from this car started acting up, so I put my old one back, and now my car is completely fine. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with my car. So I'm planning on buying a new O2 sensor since I used his. So that's something I need to do soon, probably next week. What else? Start to install the downpipe. Oh, downpipe, it's wrapped. My buddy Art did it. Shout out to him. It's nicely wrapped. The reason why we wrapped it is because of that coolant lines, and obviously the vacuum power lines going to the wastegate. I don't want that shit melting while we're driving, so that's why this is wrapped, and prevents less heat in a car, obviously, in the engine bay. So that's the thing left to do, and then hopefully start it. I do have to get those wires in the car itself, get the ECU hooked up. I get my buddy Art to come out and make sure that everything that's there, it's nicely wired in. And then I gotta run the fuel wires from the tank to the front. There's two wires that go to the front as a 12-volt trigger, and then ground to the ECU, and then you got a power, and then you got a ground. And that's the 4 wires to the relay in the trunk. And then obviously get this hooked up and make sure everything's plugged in, and then get the battery installed, and then voila, we should, get some power, try to crank this up with some oil, make sure there's pressure, make sure there's no leakage. And then once everything's good, I am gonna drain the oil, or maybe start it up and then let it run for a little bit, and then drain the oil and fill it up again, change the filter out, obviously, put some other oil, run it for a little bit, and then drain that as well. And then the third one we'll put synthetic, and then that should be it. And then once the car's running and everything sounds good, I am going to go ahead and install the lines to the valve covers to the catch can, which is sitting somewhere in the shelf. And then that should be it. I will double check everything, clean the car inside, because there's some mic shit all over inside the car. I don't know where this car's been sitting. And yeah, that should be it. And then car will be gone. So my goal is next week to get this car done. That was what I said 3 months ago. So this time for sure, I'm going to try to aim to get this car done next week. So that's why I'm working late at night on this car to get it done. So just wanted to give you guys some update. Sorry for the long video. It's already almost 20 minutes. So that's that. Just wanted to walk around, give you guys the update. And then next video, I'll show you guys the tank. how I did it in the trunk, and then and hopefully next video might possibly be just start a video of this car. So cross my finger. So well, thanks for watching, guys. So again, sorry for the long video. Just wanted to give you guys an update on this. If you guys have any questions on how I did certain things on this car, if you like something the way I did it, if you guys want to see more of it, let me know. Or any questions that you may have for regards to this car or that piece of shit right there. I do got some stories on that, which I want to start making videos on that one soon. I almost burned that piece of shit down the other day, so I want to talk to you guys about that. There'll be another build videos on that when this is done. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you guys haven't. But thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.